And Sam, I think in the passenger seat of my car should be a backpack. Be careful, it has a glass topper in the bottom.
Is it open?
I think so. If you're still on the warm-up, you probably wrote too much. Oh, okay. Well, wicked. You'll need a writing utensil. You can write on the back of your instructions.
How many of you have done the happy fishing activity before? It's kind of common. It's sort of introductory. I hope you don't mind. You'll each need one straw, a clear desk, except for the back of this paper and a writing utensil. And please watch me. Look up. You three come together. You can move your desk however you need to generate space. You three come together to make space however you need to make space. You can tag along with any group you like. That way. That one's 64. So you can count down.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, children, thank you for doing that. I'm sure you've all read these instructions. And so you understand that you're going to be involved in like a competitive endeavor. Using your straws to capture fish in your oceans. When I tell you to begin, you'll remove the lid from your ocean. Oh, you have one. And you will use your fishing pole to suck the fish out of the ocean. Your hand can help you aim the rod, but you may not handle the M&Ms with your hands. If they fall on the ground, please pick them up. You can eat them or not, but please pick them up. Don't leave them on the ground. I walk barefoot and make my feet sticky. I mean, I walk barefoot in here, not everywhere. You'll keep track of, please look up, and this is an important distinction, so listen carefully. Angler 1, 2, and 3, unless you have a fourth. For each fishery, one ocean is a fishery, so you are 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3 for that ocean, and you're 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3 for that ocean. And then on the right, you'll have the total fishery harvest by season. Does that make sense? So 2 plus 3 plus 5 means they had 10 total that season. On the back of your instruction paper, you'll do all this writing. But save one of your instruction papers, you're not going to turn these in, save one of them to make a graph of total fishery harvest by season. If you had questions, this would be the time to ask me. Yes?
Only one person in the group needs to keep track of it all?
What?
Does everyone in the group need to have
There's one person for each paper. One for the table, one for the chart is fine. One for the graph is fine. What else? Take the lid off your ocean and make sure everybody can reach it now. Take the lid off your ocean and make sure everybody can reach it now. Make sure everybody can reach your ocean. On your marks. Make sure everybody can reach the ocean. Get set. Try not to drool down the straw.
like, this is
Do not dribble into your straw because it will soil your M&Ms. I've seen it. I've seen it. Yeah, you can rearrange your seating if you have to. On your marks. Get set. Remember, using your hands is cheating. Get set. Go. You guys are so cute. Like, I'm gonna do a good job at school today. Go, kids, go. The season is almost over.
Damn it.
Oh my god.
And stop.
Remember, we double what they have, but the maximum is 20.
I can only have one more fish.
Yeah, one more. Alright,
You've been doubled already?
yeah.
You want to take the window side, homie? Have you been doubled yet? How many do you have in there?
Alex, you only get ads.
Yeah, you took 6 out?
Like, so 6.
It specifically says he only needs one. You got 3 times what he needs.
And fish, go! Season number 2.
No.
And now we're all gonna start.
You died. Death of an old man in the sea. 2 books here. Well, it was a good year. And stop! Raise your hand if you're a dead fisherman.
Well, next season.
You just failed your IQ test. What do you have there?
9 to 11.
No. 9 times 2 is...
Oh, I thought you were going to fish say? My fish will live for 8 years off of them. I had to drop them on the ground.
Wait, so how many did we harvest in the first year? So we each got one.
Only one in the first one.
Yep. Or from the second.
Yeah, I got second.
One person.
He didn't get it.
Have you been replenished?
So we got 16.
On your marks, get set, fish!
Wait.
Very competitive. There's a competition.
I just wanted to.
And then put the resupply plus the things in here and then into the fridge.
I'm getting 18.
And stop!
I'm getting 18.
What you got?
Yes. We have 13. No, that's right, 18 there.
And you have, let me guess.
Yeah, I think so. We were supposed to have 18 for.
The ocean has a carrying capacity.
That was the previous time, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it has.
Hey, everybody watch!
I think we started out with it.
Why is it that some of these kids can keep on fishing forever and ever? They only take one fish? How many fish have you been taking so far?
10. What?
How many have you?
How many fish did you get this
Okay, first one I caught 1, 2.
And go!
Second one, you got first round 3.
Season 1. We got
16 fish in one.
we got
Can we eat our M&Ms now?
Yeah.
And stop! How many do you have? How many do you have?
Different colors or different flavors in that? I don't think so. I don't think so. For some reason, I want to
so they're on your desk now.
And how many do you have?
I don't know what to do with them.
the over already.
This will be the last season. Go!
I'm already over and do that. I'm already over mine.
Everybody else, make sure you have your graph. Doesn't make any sense.
We took all the fish and fish.
Oh.
So it's a 16 the first time.
Oh, we're supposed to do a graph like that. Okay. Okay.
Second time.
You're all the rest.
0. I got your graph. Who's got a graph?
So wait, is that it?
What? On my shirt?
Now that you are done fishing, make your graphs on a whole sheet of paper, full size paper. Pencil? Okay, give it to me. No, but make your bigger.
First season, how many did we take?
So there you go. Make a full size one on there.
16. Oh,
That's lovely. Now fill in the 20 and zeros, and then you're good.
for this one.
You already got a graph.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. Beautiful. Connect the dots. Connect the dots. Yes, but how to go with the second season, and the third season, and the fourth season? Which do you want those? That was 0, now 0 dot. You heard that over? Understand what I said to them with the zeros and things?
Yeah, we
Red shirt.
definitely have less fish.
Tell them. Sam, he's fast.
Unless it goes past 10. Like if you have 18 left, you're only going to give you 2.
Graphs, 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 up in the air. I took yours. That's a table. Where's the graph? Gimme? No? Yes. Draw the zeros and then connect those. Yeah, make the axis higher. Give me your graph. Gimme. Gimme.
So we'd be pretty fast with this.
Yeah, we would.
almost screwed everyone
So
over.
season 1 would be 6, right?
Worse than this fish would do. Yeah, it's
We're the fishermen at one day.
Thank you.
A whole bunch and then that's the second day.
What's the bonus that we get?
I think it was like the winning.
That's what I was shooting for.
I didn't even know there was a bonus.
I think that was just a trap to like get a dope fish.
Anybody else have a graph for me? I do. Bring. Thank you. Thank you. Can I have it off, please? Nope.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you. Did I get one for your group? One for your group? Did I get one for your group? No. Did I get one for your group? A graph? Yours is coming? Did I get one for your group? Yes. Did I get one for your group? Did I get one for your group? Did I get one for your group? Did I get one for your group?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay. So I know that's kind of a silly thing to do in an AP level high school class. But this gives us quite a bit to talk about. These graphs that you've drawn essentially capture the full scope of our species resource management experience, more or less. The most common story with you is probably the most common story overall. Which is, holy crap, there's a lot of fish out here! Oh, dang. And don't feel bad. You are not alone. Neither in this activity nor in the real world. These kids took 2 years. Holy crap, there's a lot of fish, but I suck at this. Now we'll get it. Game over. Holy crap, oh dang, no. But in many ways, this is the story of humanity's resource management. Just think, I mean, there was days when you could like fill your house with salmon out of the streams of Montecito. You know what I mean? Like, take it. 30 juniors, 1 senior, no absences. And you should check my math, of course.
You threw me off now. It's not so straight.
This way. So, you could fill your house with the salmon you would catch out of the streams of Montecito. You could paddle a rowboat into the giant beds of kelp half a mile off of the downtown beaches and hook giant sea bass. The first non-natives to land in the Americas were Vikings, not Spaniards. And they were mostly just drawn to the giant schools of cod. So, like, historical records go back like 500, 600, 800 years of Atlantic cod at these levels before industrialization, the colonies, industrialization, industrialized fishing. And the current status of black cod is just like this, flirting with zero. Sometimes people go, wait a minute. that was pretty sweet, but I see where things are going, so let's take it easy for a while so we can start nailing it. Recovery. In other periods today, had a couple of these. That's a big part of environmental science. Is there any way that we can turn things around? And that's always a good question, you know, like with the abalones. We took almost all of them. But you know, there's a few left, and if you leave them alone for a while, they'll have babies, and then you can figure out how many you can take alive. Some of you flirted with this number. Here's somebody who was kind of almost getting it last period. These kids, I think, got it. But then they were like, oh, okay, we're out of here. Screw this. This is called the last fishing season phenomenon. Which is, it's all about me. So if I'm out of here, I will pee on the hotel room bed. I was driving cross country for a business that I used to run, and I talked to the lady at the hotel, and I was like, what's the grossest thing? And she's like, you wouldn't believe how many people pee on the bed on their last day. By now, do you all know what is the largest number you can take over and over and over forever? Yeah, let's get the rules straight. The ocean can only hold 20. And they reproduce at a rate of 2 for 1. So they'll double whatever's left. What's the most you can take over and over and over?
10.
Right? And so this is the dream of environmental science. There's a word for that. Something you can keep doing over and 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 over. Like if you sing and you like hold a note, that note is, what's it called though? When you keep going with it? Sustain. Sustain. Right? That's called that. You keep that sound there. And so there's this word in environmental science that you've probably all heard about that sounds a lot like that, right? That one, sustainability, yeah. So in this case, the maximum sustainable yield was 10. If you all had to go back and do it again, I'm sure you got it, right? And I think you can probably imagine some global implications of this. So like most fisheries around the world, like this. Our use of agricultural resources like soil, water, and nutrients to make fertilizers, like this. Salmon in the creeks of Montecito, and like old growth redwood. You know, you understand what I'm getting at, right? Like we've kind of done this a lot. So my question for you is it possible to recover? You know, we did it with the abalone. Alaska did it with their halibut. Deer populations are still recoverable. In many states, they've actually come back and stronger.
What happens if the source doesn't reproduce? Like, for example, water, if it doesn't rain, like water can make more.
Yeah, I mean, water's an interesting resource. On the one hand, the planet will never have more molecules or less molecules. Regionally, the question is, are they coming back to you where you are, or are all leaving to another region. The same water's on the planet. Don't worry, we're never going to run out. 71% of the planet, all water. And whatever that is, that's always going to be here. Not like here, like we're all water. And then there's like, you know, coastal Florida. They're like, stop, because they have so much water. So globally, we don't have any problem. Regionally, kind of slippery, water. Put it to me. So my question for you now. You are the next generation, as you know. You've been handed a giant party platter of the previous generation's poo-poo. We took the brakes off the car, we smashed the window, took out the steering wheel, we loosened all the lug nuts, and now you get to drive it. Whee! Is it possible? I am open to hear your opinions. I am asking for your opinions. Can we recover and someday find sustainability? It's a philosophical question. There's no right answer. I mean, as a species in the long run. Who says yes? Sustainability is because?
Because it's all, or it depends on what you're talking about. Because if you completely deplete the population, then you can't recover. But if there's still a little bit, then it's going to take a much longer time.
Yeah, we couldn't recover after the first season.
Yeah, we depleted ours into. After the second season, we had
We
0
only
left.
had-
And so for the rest of the season, we had 0, and they're not going to just magically reappear.
Okay, so as long as we don't all die of stupidity first,
Yeah.
your point is slowly recovery is possible and sustainability somewhere down the road. Who else says yes? Yes?
Because anything's possible.
Oh, shut up. What else? 2 kids and one of them was anything's possible? Really? That's what I got to deal with? Period 2's gonna be like that? You have no hope? What? For teenagers with no hope? What is the world coming to? Paul, what?
No, I said yeah.
Okay, what?
Well, why couldn't it regrow back if there's already fish there? Like if you had I don't know, 4, you can get back to 20 at some point.
Are we just talking about fish?
I'm not talking about fish no more. I'm talking about humans on Earth. So our species, big picture, humanity.
There's a lot of resources we've depleted, like a lot of oil sources and stuff that we can't just replenish and leave them alone for a while.
Well, 400 billion years, we'll get it.
But then there's a lot of animal species that if we managed to cut back a lot, they could replenish themselves over quite a while. Not in our lifetime, but
Yeah, I'm talking about our species.
yeah.
Anybody else could give me a scenario whereby our species will make it for a long time and have a sustainable future? Yeah.
I think we'd have to have a lot less people probably, and a lot more modest use of resources. Like if everyone used as much as the average American, we'd be out of resources completely.
And our population's growing, so in the future, there's going to be more people with the same amount of resources. So they're going to deplete things a lot faster.
Yeah. Those are 2 very astute observations. Coincidentally, if the world lived like the average American, we would need another 5.5 planets worth of stuff. Yes.
I think we definitely need to balance out our resources because Americans living eating all the resources and then Africa has no food or anything. So I think if we balance it out more, for us to be able to recover in the whole world, we need to change how they're living.
So you're a socialist, you're saying?
Yeah, but I don't think that's possible.
Cool, me too.
Everyone-
Oh, no, okay. Not possible.
Everyone get together, but I mean, it could happen, but I doubt it.
Could happen, but you doubt it. And who says no way? F this S. Why?
Well, because a lot of people are more greedy than others.
Greed?
And
I'm cutting you off. Okay.
So like some people, like their jobs are to like, let's say fish, and people will still do it even if there are rules, because that's how they get their income, you know?
Who else? Yes?
People are just creatures of habit.
Creatures
So
of habit.
they're not going to stop. Eat as much as they get lost.
Who else? Come on. Nobody else? You done talking to me? Well, I think we've hit on some of the basic issues that I'm sure you'll consider for the rest of your lives. What is our resource footprint? How much do I have to change and lower that resource footprint so that we can share with everyone? When am I being greedy? And when am I just being thoughtless? But there's a slightly more stark interpretation that I'd like to remind you of. You see, we can call people greedy and be like, oh, you're just being selfish, jerk, white privilege. But there's also some really fundamental human issues that I think all of you understand, we just haven't quite verbalized yet. Here's one of them. If you got 3 people playing M&M sustainability with these rules, can they do it forever? You need 1 fish to survive. You can take 10 out, right? So they can do that forever. Do you agree? Like the flat line can go on forever if there's 3. And if there's 5 fishermen, they each get 2. No big deal. They only need 1 to survive, right? If you got 10 fishermen playing M&M sustainability, you better hope nobody has twins, right? Because what do you do when you got a little surprise from the stork and you get like 11 fishermen all looking into that ocean?
One of them's gonna starve, and then there'll be 10 again.
Okay.
Or you'll just fish it overfish.
These are the 2 options. If there's too many of us, we either pick who dies, bros before hoes, I'm just saying. And if you don't pick someone to die, then everybody can do the math, right? You only left 9, so there's 18. So the second year, you're all good, but you only left 7. So it only comes back to 14. So the third year, you got 14, you're all good, everybody can have one. But that only leaves 3. So next year there's only 6. So either one of them dies up front, or 5 die in 4 years and everybody dies the year after. You want to know my math? You understand the curve I just drew right there? Anybody want to talk about that math real quick so you can all be on the same page? This is the stark reality of population size. When I asked my high school kids, like, what do we do? They're always like, oh, you know, somebody's got to die. It's always easy to say that. Like, yeah, someone's going down. This is the way winners talk. You know we're winners because we can just talk about other people dying because we play video games where people die all the time, but starvation doesn't usually reach us in our homes. I'll tell you something. I got 2 kids. And if it's all of you and me and my kids leaning over that cup of M&Ms, my kids will get their fish. I will kill you with a wooden spoon. These bare hands. Because that's what a father does, right? Like that's love of family. That's what you want your parents to do. You want them to kill someone else so that you can eat. And you would not call them greedy. You wouldn't say that they're being selfish or thoughtless. Right? Like when push comes to shove, you know. Sure, we can lower our resource consumption, and we should. But at some point, I don't want you all to call people greedy. Because a few of us are greedy, yeah, but most of the world is just trying to get by. Half of our species lives on $2.50 or less per day, $2.50. Half of our species. If you made $2.51 or better today, you're above average. So when we talk about greed and stuff, we're talking about our greed, not about humanity. Humanity's just trying to do their... Imagine if you go home and your mom's like, no food for you today. We're taking one for the team. I sent all my food to Africa and stuff. You'd be like, Mom, you're crazy. Throw her downstairs. Right? Like, what kind of a parent would do that to you? She's like, I'm just trying to, like, not be greedy. You'd be like, you're stupid, Mom. That's what I would say. I want to remove these value judgments, because yes, greed and selfishness are possible, but at some point, love means you're going to take care of yours, and sustainability be damned, the other fishermen be damned, Africa be damned. And yeah, we got all kinds of greed. We are those greedy ones. But for most of our species, I would not like to hear you judge them. When you can make it work on $2.50 a day or less, then we can talk about other people being greedy. You know what I'm saying? Yes? Are you stretching or are you raising your head?
Oh, I'm stretching.
Okay, bud. Okay. So, there's a couple of things that I want to remind you of here. Many extensions to environmental science, many collapses, recovery possible, sustainability possible, maybe not. And when you discuss human behavior, please do not simplify people's motivations. Like, I don't care if you call me greedy. I don't think I'm being greedy. I will provide for my children. Let's be thoughtful about how we think about our fellow man. There's a lot of human values here that we all share, like love of family and not wanting people to starve and suffer. There is another interesting thing. How many of you wish that you had come up with rules for sharing your resource in terms of your fishery here? Like, don't you wish you could have thought it out and made a decision together and been like, hey, everybody, let's just take 10, okay? And who did take 10? Did you all do the math? Or was that an accident? You did the math. Yeah. Overall, how many fish did you harvest in your total activity, adding up all the seasons?
57.
Can anybody beat that? I hope I made a point there, right? Like, we all wish we got 57. We just didn't take the time to think about this and talk it out. Coincidentally, that little strategic point I just made, party foul. Sorry, I'm not used to this school thing. Strategically, I think I've made my point that they did the math, they thought in advance, they worked together, and in the end, they got more than anybody else. This is the basic fundamental argument for political participation. A big part of my class is about your role as individuals in our society, and you have to think strategically, and you have to communicate and work together, and you'll get the most benefit out of that. Everybody's like, oh man, I hate rules. I'm all about anarchy. Like, you all saw how anarchy works for fishing. Okay. If you could please respace your chairs, eat your M&Ms, throw your stuff in the recycling bin where it belongs. You'll notice there's a little post lab. We have basically talked about all the post lab questions. Do I have somebody's paper? Keys in here? Somebody's? Who do that? You'll need this because there's a couple of post-lab questions at the end. There's a couple of post-lab questions at the end. Those will be due whenever I can figure out to write it on the board. Catherine Hawks. Angela Cox. Coat?
It's coffin.
Oh, Coffin. Do you have a sibling? What's his name?
They're Adam and Justin.
Oh, not here. Cedar Gately? Lillian's brother. Rihanna Schaefer? Can you pass it back to me, please? Noah, Nick, and Martin? Will you please pass this back? So you've got some post-lab questions. They'll do, let's call it Tuesday, no, do it earlier. Wednesday. I'm not able to finish that now. But if you'd rather, we can also talk about it. Like 10 minutes. No, separate paper, please. Separate paper, please. Nobody had ever done this before? You know, something that I often think about, what would it take for me to starve another person? Like how much would it take? What's that?
You think about that a lot?
Yeah, all the time. No, seriously, dude, I teach about resource issues. Like, this is the conversation I have fundamentally, you know, this is at the heart of my day-to-day conversation every day for like a decade and counting. And of course, I try to walk the walk, and so my children and I, you know, I talk to them about being thoughtful about our resources too. And I'm a fisherman and a hunter and a mushroom gatherer. I wonder, like, how desperate would I have to be to, like, knowingly take a fish that would have kept you alive? Like, if my wife was sick and just, like, needed hospitalization, I'd probably do it. She wouldn't even need to be starving. I would sell that fish to someone else if it meant getting the money to take care of her. Obviously, if my kids were hungry, I wouldn't even think twice, but, like, how little would it take, you know? If I just needed to fix up my car, but I probably not, you know, like, I need new suspension, what's going on? Alright, you know. I'll let you eat. What if I needed my car to get to work so I could do the job that pays for my kids?
I'll fix your car.
Yep. That's where we get to negotiating. Either way, like, I think we'd put another person's hands in our lives for very little. At least I'd hold the fish and make you work for it, you know.
Reasonable.
There's so much stuff that we judge other people for that I think we would do so quickly. Essentially, I just justified slavery right there. Yeah. I hope you're all comfortable with this, like, off-the-cuff philosophy stuff. But I'm not really thoughtful very much, so this is how I work out my philosophical muscles. I don't know, I just eat, play with my iPad. So in period 1, I stretched it out way too long, so in period 2, I thought I'd better condense it, and I cut it too short. It's not often we have extra minutes. Anything you guys want to talk about? If it's not sciencey stuff, we can change the subject. Yeah?
What do you think is going to happen with the bees?
Well, it's an interesting question, because we know that the primary problem for bee colonies is neonicotinoid pesticides. And most of our public is pretty anti-pesticide, even though there may be strategic and logical benefits to some measured pesticide use. If you tell anybody on the public, sign this thing to ban a pesticide, they'll always say yes. So I think that the primary issue, neonicotinoids, the synthetic nicotine that we use to spray many of our food crops, I think that will nosedive pretty soon. The public has a good proven track record of banning chemicals they don't like. On the flip side, there are other and many threats to bee colonies that I think would be harder to deal with. I think some amount of bee is going to be around. Funny thing is that we make a lot of our food with bees, as you probably know, and it's in everybody's economic best interest to have bees. Additionally, the first person that figures out a way to import a South American strain of bees that's immune to our local fungal problem and an Africanized strain that can deal with the different temperature range, I think we're going to see a lot more private apiculture. people who provide bee services for food production. I kind of imagine that could get really profitable. I would think it's kind of a growing field despite the challenge. I don't think we're gonna like run out of all bees. But I think it is kind of a critical tipping point in our food supply, yeah. What else? We can talk science all day, we can talk life all day. We only have a few minutes left.